This is Temporary Assistance for Needy Families by Thomas Maynard, Will Neocars, Ryan Frowling, Grace Kolbiowski, and Theodore Ray. So today we're just going to be going over this um, policy and what it implies. So overview and implementation for temporary assistance for needy families. This policy was passed on August 22nd, 1996 by President Clinton. Temporary assistance for needy families is a social policy with the intent of helping low-income families achieve economic stability. The states receive a block grant and use that money toward implementing and managing the overall policy. So to access these benefits, you must go through your state-specific application process. So basically, there are a lot of requirements and things you must hit for a family to receive this, and that can be based on what state you live in. So some of the requirements for specifically Ohio include family must include a minor or a woman must be pregnant in the household, and households must earn 200% of the federal poverty line or less. So then we looked into the positive and negatives of this policy for differing perspectives and did some research on that. So the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program plays a crucial role in supporting struggling families by providing financial relief with an emphasis on promoting long-term stability. So this policy does really help struggling families. And there's a quote here that states implementing worker supplement programs achieve lower unemployment among low-income females compared with states that did not implement the programs. So this policy provides essential financial assistance, encourages work and self-sufficiency, supports child well-being, and offers flexibility for states. So they're not just getting money passed to them, they are having to still work for this. So then on the negative side, there are some negatives. Even though temporary assistance for needy families is a helpful policy, there are some negatives and stressors. Parents have to be concerned if they are even eligible for this, and there are some hard requirements that might cause a lot of stress to these families. So that includes working a certain amount of hours and then having to record those hours to prove they've met the requirement, because this policy does have a very strict you have to hit those certain hours. So recording them really matters. And then having children under the age of 18 in the house and collaborating with child support throughout this process. So these can all be stressful things for people needing assistance while still having to meet qualifications and work hours within this. So for our NASW alignment, the Code of Ethics, you can see on the left-hand side, we have a visual of the 4 goals of temporary assistance. So children are cared for in their own homes, promoting job preparation, etc., preventing and reducing the incidence of out-of-wedlock pregnancies, encouraging formation and maintenance of two-parent families. So that's just kind of a visual on how this may align. And so there's a quote here: President Clinton signed temporary assistance for needy families into law in 1996 as a replacement for the much maligned Aid to Families with Dependent Children program. And that's a quote from NASW. And the NASW Code of Ethics offers values, principles, and standards to guide decision-making when it comes to ethical concerns. They advocate for things such as finding work to be easier for these families, as well as expanding the definition of work to include things such as higher education in elementary or high school. And this policy doesn't perfectly align with NASW's goals, as many families who are in need don't really fit the criteria necessary for the assistance given by the policy, which conflicts with NASW's commitment to client well-being. So while it can be controversial with having to meet these requirements and making them work for it, that's kind of how it goes against NASW's commitment to client well-being, because everyone should be helped in equal ways, but it is kind of other people's opinions on as to if they should have to work for this, if they shouldn't. So that's the only conflicting thing with that. And finally, our discussion question is: do you believe temporary assistance for needy families 5-year lifetime limits are an effective motivator for individuals towards self-sufficiency, or do they unfairly punish families facing persistent poverty. So that's kind of another conflicting viewpoint. So just seeing what individuals may think about that from their different perspectives. And then finally, this is our reference page, including the NASW Code of Ethics, along with another source about that. And then just other sources based on our positives and negatives and just the alignment, everything that we presented on. So thank you so much for listening.